Something we do not, we will not allow. Can you remember that?
Okay.
Let me write it. Let me write it down.
The sprite looks at her extremely tiny hands.
Frowns.
Write a very small note.
He really didn't think this through, did he?
Sending messages is very unreliable. He did all he could in the hopes of having you, who he helped in the past, and whom Fargust owed some obligation, free his beloved from the hands and jaws of Chuk. I do not know of any magic that he would possess that he could transfer through me to get you to Drakenhall very quickly.
Well, getting back would work just as well.
Perhaps once you're there, then he would be able to assist with that, for he is very powerful. The most... well, one of the powerful druids of Drakenhall. So long as you disregard the Blues Draco druid. Don't go near him.
Plan not to. I see, well... I'm having a hard time answering yes or no. We will have to take a couple of days to decide.
The force sprite, like her jaw, like slowly hinges as if she's trying to process what that means for her. I can't.
Could wait around here. My job with pixies broke, but might be able to get another one.
I cannot linger here forever. My home is not here. I will relay that message you've given me, and she just sort of offers like a half-hearted shrug.
Excellent. Says we will do our best. I suppose that is all we can say. We want to help. We'll do our best to do so.
A sprite sighs, her optimism being dimmed, and she will flutter out of the Arcane College.
Dream nods inside and shakes his head. So I would hate for someone who calls for our help to not have it. But let us see if we can catch Aurelia first.
I'm right next to you. What?
No, Auxilia.
Your true motives revealed.
He turns around.
Found you.
And then Dwohurim shapeshifts into Auxilia. This has been the longest play ever between Manaki and I.
Fool! Dwohurim died back in Dragonhall.
I kidnapped your son. Oh, shit.
But back to the situation, Aurelia will turn to Dwohurim. Her usual poker face completely replaced with that one of flabbergastation, if that's even a word nowadays. She takes a moment to recover herself and says, "We just left that cave so we could live to fight another day.
Yes.
And now you
Let's go do
suggest..." She blinks, stops.
You seem to be very displeased with the situation, but I assure you we are just as hunted as you are in that city, which is why I would want to be able to leave rather fast. And being able to perhaps send us back rather fast would be promising. If we manage to take Auxilia down here in a week perhaps, a little more, then we might have time to go there and, deal with this as well. I would hate for a potential ally to lose faith in the battle against the Blue. Especially one with so much power and influence where it really counts.
If I may, Jan looks over all of you. So, how close are you? What exactly have you found out while I've been hunting the undead? He sighs.
Domino was presumably killed by redcaps. And the Iron Sea is ever more dangerous than before. I think that is the main part of it.
We also have a name of first contact within the Black Fang.
Yes, we have more names.
Names are not useful unless we can pin it to something.
Something we might want to run through the guard. They might have. Usually don't, but they might have something on these people, and it takes not so long to send in the request.
They might know where we can find them at least.
Yeah, maybe. Nothing else? We still have a high elf to talk to.
That we do.
Oh
I
yes.
stopped
The
myself.
webcam was worth it just for that reaction.
I stopped myself.
First time. And only, perhaps.
So, out of character question, have we like done the whole thing of assigning acolytes to read through the ledgers yet, or is that still a thing that we?
I don't think that's been a thing that's been done. It's something that you guys have kicked around as an idea, but I've not heard any confirmation of like acolytes. Basically, like take like little wizard like apprentice shits and be like, "Here, you want to get good with the arcane college? You want to get good with me? Do this."
Well, we need someone to read through these damn things.
that thing when a scientist would set his students to do all the legwork out in some field to take earth samples from like every square meter. That's basically the equivalent of this. It's monotonous, boring work that yields very little, but we need it done. And
Yes.
I'm sure there are people who look up to us enough to do it.
Yes. In this particular case, this will end up cashing in, even though Tempus is not with you. His Archmage +6. For there is a professor here who is still alive at the Arcane College who has taken a fancy to the Forgeborn, and consequently his group, perhaps as part of one of the professor's exams, you can pawn off the labor of digesting all of these ledgers.
Wonderful.
The professor will note that he's not entirely sure how long it'll take for them or how accurate their analysis will be, as their leading authority work is not, financial breakdowns, but
It's probably better than whatever we can do in the limited time we have. Yeah.
So there is always the option of also getting Nathan in on that, because he is an accountant and he's kind of perhaps looking for a way to get back into our good graces, perhaps.
as sort of as community
he was
service.
get back in your. He was never in your good graces.
Exactly.
You can't
He
get
just wants
back
to
to a
leave.
place he's never been.
And I would not trust that guy at all.
You know what's the worst he can do?
Well,
He can.
Stab some
Well,
acolyte.
considering how Aurelia thinks he's like the super sneakiest agent of the Black Fang ever, what is the worst that he can do?
You could try to
Blow up the
mislead
academy.
us, but
Perhaps, Aurelia considers if he was like a spy or a saboteur of the Black Fang, he could subtly edit like all of the ledgers that you give him, perhaps without you even being able to notice his forgeries, and then make judgments based off of that, and lead you all on a wild goose chase.
We should send him into the sewer to fight undead. But that we probably escaped from that as well.
should
You know,
just
Aurelia was the one who told Dwohurim that he was like a
So-
super spy. So.
Something you guys don't have the official authority to do is convict people and sentence them to Merriman duty. In part because
Damn it.
people can't be sentenced to Merriman duty, almost usually. They have to volunteer for it. Only in heinous criminal examples can they just be shoved down into the sewers. And what you guys have on him is not a whole lot of... Like,
We're adventurers. We sentence people left and right.
you sure do. With consequences.
We judged them to be guilty.
You know, the thing with Nathan, it's basically like one of these witch trials. If he drowns, then he was in it. If he drowns, he was innocent, and if he floats, then we kill him.
Europe
Drowning
has a
would mean
strong
that he-
tradition for
that
this
he-
sort of thing.
Sorry, what?
Europe has a strong tradition for this sort of thing. I mean, it comes
Yeah.
naturally to us.
Either he gets killed, in which case he was from the Black Fang, or he doesn't, in which case he's useless, and I don't know.
The gods will sort their own, I believe some say.
Either way, we get nothing from him.
Yeah. Yes, then we get the free passing.
You know, we can probably keep him locked up until we have finished the. I mean, until we know he's not involved by finishing the. If we catch Auxilia, and we still have no indication that he's involved in any way, then we can probably just be like, well, you know,
maybe he
for
was
the time.
sent from
Enjoy.
someone.
I hope you enjoyed your free food for like a couple of weeks.
Maybe he was sent from someone else in Dragon Hall to oversee Auxilia. Maybe there's two branches kind of
But-
controlling each.
But what
Think
happens
about
to
it.
people whom we investigate who used to be involved with the Black Fang? As
That's
soon as
just
possible, they
nice.
get murdered by redcaps, apparently, or like mercenaries, or. I agree keeping him locked up, because if he gets killed, then whoever killed him is the next person we should follow. I mean, that seems to be our current trajectory. The Black Fang kills someone, we try to find the guy who did it, and then they kill that guy, and then, you know,
So we follow the red caps.
we could, but Durham doesn't want to.
Well, if you wanted
That's
to
what we
follow
do
the
with
red
this
But
caps,
that's the natural stop of that tactic.
if you wanted to follow the red caps, then you guys needed to be in a position where you could trail the red caps, which is not where you are right now.
Yeah.
They snap their fingers and they're in someone's nose somewhere. So who knows how that works?
Say,
You remember them like jumping out under eyelids before? It's,
I did make rolls to determine what Aurelia and Geráck would have known of red caps based on their icons, but I got ones. Ones for... I rolled 2d6 for Geráck and 2d6 for Aurelia. 4 ones.
I would say that they're very bad news, generally. It's not something you want to get involved with.
So what do we do now then?
Well, we go to the guard and we ask for the name Meneldrin.
Well, they don't have computers.
Right, but they might have like a stored
brains.
paper file, right? Probably sorted by alphabetically.
Maybe. There's also 30,000 adults here in the vast city of Newport.
Well, it's more like if this person's been involved in anything else before.
We could go to Miss Homicide Inspector, or whatever she was.
Just hope she doesn't
The-
ask you for a report on like how your investigation is going thus far.
Well, this name is relevant to it, of course.
Well, how the investigation is going? Yeah, we'll tell that. We have we
Elite.
tracked someone whom we believe is the murderer, direct murderer. However, we have found indication that she was working under the orders of someone else, direct orders to kill him. She apparently has also, to the best of our knowledge, been killed off by her employer, so that she would not reveal his name. We are trying to follow leads that would lead us to her employer, as that is a natural sort of continuation of the investigation.
Okay. You can certainly approach one of these super officious, guard buildings that is devoted to administrating the city of Newport and ask for Harlan Brennos. And as it turns out, she will be awake, or he will be awake, they will be awake at this time. And the guard, officious looking, with that nose and the slightly condescending eyes narrowing, will make their approach towards you and direct you towards a rather dusty and not exactly often used office with some chairs in it that you can sit down at.
Sure. We'll go and sit down.
The guard will uncomfortably sit within a chair, armor still bristling around their sides, and say, "All right, you've got some of my time. What have you discovered thus far in your investigation into the murder of Thurl Dural?"
Well, Dwohurim will begin by telling that we talked to the boy, and we found indication of Domino. We tracked her down to a hideout in the small fishing village of Kilwell, which is hiding some caves. She was, however, seemingly killed off by her employer, who had ordered the murder.
So, this Domino bounty hunter, I've heard of her name before. She was dead when you got there?
No.
So how'd she die?
Well, we got there, and then she was attacked
All right.
by a large force of red cabs and rust monsters, as it turns out. We had just been defending the city, the village, the fishing village, from against monsters from the Iron Sea. Came crawling up
Right.
shore, as you heard. And we were unable to, secure her for further interrogation. She did, however, manage to confess to the murder first.
All right. Which, in that case, would, I suppose, officially resolve the investigation thereof. Your word would be sufficient enough, I suppose, given your connections.
Some degree. We do believe that there is more to it than this. The simple act of the murder is not alone her own fault. She was simply hired to do the deed. A weapon of someone else wielded to kill Thorolderol. We will continue the investigation trying to find out who wielded Domino to act in this murder and who attempted to kill her to get rid of the evidence. We have a few names, and we'd like to check and see if the guard has any information on any of them.
Well, she shrugs. This government, it's possible. You'd probably be better off handing those to me, though, so I can spread out the names to all of the various guardhouses. That way, you'd have your better chance of getting whatever records it is that you're looking for.
Very well, but we would like for these names to not be spread out to the general public.
Of
As
course
whoever
not.
this might be, it's clear that whoever is responsible has been killing off their own people to avoid getting found out.
Sure.
We would hate to find the next place being a murder location. The
Indeed.
guard, well, it's just too much, but it is not unknown for some guards to take a bit of pay from other sources. We'd like to be handled with discretion.
The prior phrase you said before, red caps and rust monsters?
Yes. It is definitely someone with power doing this.
Rust monsters and red caps. Like Harlan rolls their eyes up to the ceiling, like trying to fathom what these things are.
There's a magically teleporting beardless dwarf, small with hats dipped in blood, big steel-toed boots. They would generally teleport into your orifices, from where they would jump out and stab you and kill you. Because I can have a dossier sent to you, I think, if that is required. I don't think they would be found by the guard here. Rather fearsome things.
How many of these red cap things are there?
I think I counted 6, and one that seemed to be the leader, a very powerful one, seemingly. Then 4, 2 rust monsters.
You think this has anything to do with the living dungeon of Creel Island, supposedly moving closer to the city?
No, we have been to the living dungeon before, and it does not employ these creatures. They also specifically said that they were coming for Domino as a hired job.
All right. And you think that these red caps and rust monsters were given orders by someone else, someone here within the city of Newport?
Yes, they are hired mercenaries, most often, doing very little on their own accord. We have encountered them before.
So
Some of
they
them.
would dwell
Others.
here within the city of Newport, then?
Perhaps. Maybe. I do not know. I doubt they would bring the rust monsters in themselves. Would imagine that they were hired by proxy in some fashion. We still do not have enough information to, really answer these questions, but with further investigation, I'm sure we'll come to an answer.
All right. In And so these names, what's your next step then into the investigation? Just waiting to hear feedback about these names?
Certainly, first we will attempt that. After that, we have leads suggesting that we should investigate more in Little Dragon Hall. We'll go and take a look around. No reason to act rashly yet.
You think this entire business involves Little Dragon Hall because Thurl Dural was killed several blocks from there?
That certainly is part of it, yes.
Well,
We also have indication that Domino has worked with certain people from Little Dragon Hall before, and makes sense that it might be among her previous business contacts. We will, as I said, investigate. We have nothing concrete on that lead yet.
well, we can certainly, I can certainly pass the information to the proper channels. The guards can certainly pay Little Dragon Hall better attention, but that community, more so than most, is known for being tight-knit. And while many adventurers and travelers come through there, it seems like those folks who lurk around at Dragon Hall share a bond that they keep with each other.
Yes, we will attempt to act with some discretion, but perhaps it is better if the guards do not get directly involved in this. We would not want them to come to any undue harm for things they were not prepared for, and we do not yet know what they're prepared for. We just know that whoever we're investigating has sufficient resources to take care of loose ends.
Well, it is one of the things some guards are trained for, but considering what I've heard of you through my superiors, I suppose. She, closes a small, book in which she was keeping notes. Alright then, I'll, take, and what name or names do you give her? Him, then.
Well, Menel Drin, certainly.
Okay.
I guess we would also want to know about Arnold, yeah?
Alright.
Yeah.
Sure. And let's try the. Did we get any other names of the Harlequin's Flask and the Wench and Chain? We have the two barkeeps from there. We'd like to know some more about. Not that we know that they're involved, but it's nice to know if they have any previous records, basically.
So I have in my notes something saying that the Red Cap mentioned a Lucilla. Is that a name I forgot or a new one?
I don't have it in my notes, so maybe it's something I missed.
I wrote it down. I don't know if it happened.
I mean, if you wrote it down, it happened. So give it to her. But Lucilla who?
Just Lucilla, I think.
That is awful.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Well, we can ask if we only have the name Lucilla, but maybe there is a record of someone. Like if there's a big record of someone with that name, or it's probably very flimsy. But who knows? Maybe there's Lucilla, the murderer of 50 people in this town. I mean, if it's there probably aren't that many people called that who are also hardened criminals. So maybe the first name will do.
Alright. The guard will take the names and say, and you're still staying at the Arcane College then?
Yes.
Well, especially if this is sensitive knowledge, it may take a few days. I can't say exactly which for all of the various guard posts to get back with what they know. I'll limit it to, if you think it's Little Dragon Hall specific, I can limit it to a district or two. Might get it back to you quicker. Or perhaps an entire neighborhood, maybe right off, if it just limited to the Docks district, information will come much quicker than sending something to the guild and then the obnoxious heights.
We would like the information to be asked in the different quarters, but certainly the Docks have the highest priority. If you could get them to us faster,
Alright.
sending them separately, that could work.
I'll pass the information along.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else?
He looks to the others.
Well, do you specifically know anything about any of these people?
No, I do not. Their names do not ring any bells for me, other than that Domino, that she is a bounty hunter, and I have had some encounters and dealings with her before in the past. Her death
Is she being sincere?
Well, you can roll a secret sense motive check for me.
Oh, yes, I like those.
A wisdom-based insight to attempt to decipher Harlan Brunos's facial expressions.
You lied,
Like-
goddammit.
She seems to be the best agent of the Black Fang you've ever seen.
She is so good.
Harlan Brunos, you are more distracted by their androgynous features than you are able to make any conclusive determination as to whether they're being honest or truthful. Or, honest or truthful.
Again?
Yeah, awesome. Once again, I win. It could very well be plausible, but Aurelia knows that she's encountered many liars in her day. Maybe. Harlan continues. Yes, I have had encounters with the bounty hunter in my day. She will not be sorely missed among the guards.
Right. Well then, we will continue our investigation and bring the information to you if you find something more concrete.
Thank you for your investment in this process. I am sure his governorship is most thankful for your attention in this matter.
Yeah, we'll give her a good nod and then take his leave.
All right. Harlan isn't that far behind you, heading off on their own direction.
Maybe she or it is Auxilia.
Maybe. But if so, then we're wasting precious minutes of Auxilia's day. So good. I mean, that would actually be better than if she's just some random unknown person. Maybe this Ajax person is Auxilia, who's just made herself look like Ajax and now acting like a douche to everybody.
It is quite possible that the Black Fang will know that we're looking for these people now.
You know how damn paranoid we'd be if someone began turning into other people. Well.
That's never
So-
stopped the players from being paranoid.
No. So now we go and arrest Arnold, yeah?
I'm not sure if that is the wisest idea, because Arno seems to be some sort of perhaps mediator in the Little Dragon Hall community. Taking him out would assure hostilities.
So we go talk to him?
That is a possibility. We could also visit his establishment. It is known to be a place where both taverns can meet and discuss issues. A neutral zone, so to speak.
So I have a few leads pointing towards him. So we should be careful not to let him slip through our hands.
I would rather we arrest him than talk to him, because he will not say anything to us.
Oh, he definitely will not while we arrest him, that's for sure. I think perhaps Aurelia has got here. We might want to talk to him peacefully first. We can always escalate things later. Blame him for it. We should go to his establishment. At this point, we've been shown where it is.
Alright then.
Alternatively, we could perhaps arrest the barkeep of the Wenchen chain instead. He is associated with Arno. He is known to go to certain meetings that both the Harlequin's Flask barkeeper attend, as well as other personas that I have yet to identify. And he is undoubtedly he knows at least some things about Arno. Arresting him would at least only assure that the patrons of the Wenchen chain would oppose us, rather than the entire neighborhood.
They are a tight-knit community. I believe visiting first will be. We can always arrest people afterwards. As long as we have the not complete opposition from the neighborhood, we might as well talk to as many people peacefully as we can, then begin to carry the big stick later. Yeah. We have a boat in the harbor that we can go to with whoever we choose to grab. And who knows, he may act rashly, going to his bolt hole or something like that. Besides, I'm sure he will understand that if we go to him, we have no other leads, which would be a good assumption for them to have.
Would it?
Yes, that would make them
Lead me
bold.
to a false sense of security, then.
It would also be almost true.